The Burj Al Arab looks like it simply rises out of the sea. A gleaming sail-shaped tower standing alone on its own island, hundreds of meters from Dubai's shoreline. It almost feels as if it has always been there. But that's impossible. Because before construction began, there wasn't even any land, only deep water, powerful waves, and an empty stretch of the Arabian Gulf. Most skyscrapers fight gravity. The Burj Al Arab had to fight the ocean itself. And almost immediately, engineers discovered that building the hotel wasn't going to be the hardest part. First, they had to create an island that simply didn't exist. Dubai, in the early 1990s, was changing faster than almost anywhere else on Earth. Oil had transformed the city, but its leaders knew something important. Oil wouldn't last forever. If Dubai wanted to become one of the world's greatest destinations, it needed something unforgettable, not just another luxury hotel. It needed an icon, a building that people could recognize instantly, even from a single silhouette. The challenge was obvious. Dubai's coastline was already filling with developments. Any new hotel built on the beach would disappear among countless others. So Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum proposed something that sounded almost absurd. Move the hotel into the sea, far enough from the coast that it would dominate the skyline from every angle. It was a brilliant idea. It was also an engineering nightmare. The chosen location sat roughly 280 meters offshore, where waves constantly pounded the coastline. Unlike calm harbor waters, this part of the Gulf was fully exposed to changing tides, storms, and years of relentless erosion. Building directly on the seabed wasn't as simple as pouring concrete. The ocean floor consisted mostly of loose sand, strong enough to walk on, far too unstable to support one of the tallest hotels ever built. A normal foundation would slowly settle, tilt, or even crack under the enormous weight. Engineers needed a completely different solution, one that had almost never been attempted on a project like this. And they faced another problem. Every day spent building in open water dramatically increased costs. Heavy equipment had to operate from barges. Materials had to be transported across the sea. Even small waves could delay construction for hours. The clock was constantly working against them. But the biggest obstacle still hadn't appeared, because before anyone could even think about building a luxury hotel, they first had to build an entire island that could survive the power of the Arabian Gulf. Creating an island sounds simple. Dump enough rocks into the sea, level the surface, and start building. But if engineers had done that, the Burj Al Arab probably wouldn't be standing today. The Arabian Gulf may look calm from above, but beneath the surface, waves and currents are constantly moving enormous amounts of sand. Over time, that movement can slowly wash away the ground beneath any structure. A traditional seawall wasn't enough. The island needed to survive decades of storms without cutting itself off from the sea. So, engineers came up with an unusual idea. Instead of building a solid concrete barrier, they created a massive ring of carefully placed rocks. More than 200,000 tons of rock were transported to the site, with every block positioned using GPS technology, remarkably advanced for the mid-1990s. The rocks weren't simply dumped into the water. Each one had to fit into a carefully designed pattern that could absorb the energy of incoming waves rather than reflect it. That made all the difference. Instead of crashing back with full force, the waves lost much of their power before reaching the island itself. But even after the breakwater was finished, there was still no stable ground to build on. Inside the protective ring, the seabed remained nothing more than loose sand saturated with seawater. The heavier the building became, the more that sand could shift beneath it. Engineers had two choices: dig everything out and replace it, or somehow make the existing seabed strong enough. They chose the second option, and what happened next was almost invisible. Powerful machines blasted water deep into the sand, while vibrating probes rearranged millions of tiny grains below the surface. As the water escaped, the loose sand packed together into a much denser foundation. The process was repeated over and over across the entire island. From above, it looked like little more than construction equipment moving across the site. Underground, an entirely new foundation was being created. Eventually, the artificial island was ready. From a distance, it looked like solid land. But appearances were deceiving. The island itself wasn't carrying the future hotel. That responsibility belonged to something hidden far below. And without it, the Burj Al Arab would have slowly sunk into the sea. The island was finally ready. From the outside, it looked as if construction could finally begin. In reality, the hardest engineering challenge was only just starting. The Burj Al Arab would eventually rise more than 320 meters above the sea. Every floor, every steel beam, every luxury suite would add thousands of tons pressing down onto an island that hadn't even existed a few months earlier. A normal concrete foundation wasn't an option. The sand below simply couldn't carry that kind of weight. So engineers went deeper, much deeper. Instead of relying on a massive concrete slab, they drove 230 giant reinforced concrete piles into the seabed. Each pile stretched roughly 40 meters below the island. Surprisingly, they weren't anchored into solid bedrock. There wasn't any. Instead, the piles worked through friction. As they were pushed into the tightly compacted sand, the enormous surface area of each pile created enough resistance to hold the building in place. It's the same principle as trying to pull your hand out of wet sand. The harder you pull, the stronger the sand grips. At the time, many people questioned whether that was really enough. Could a luxury skyscraper standing in open water truly rely on compacted sand? There was only one way to find out. Construction moved upward, slowly at first, then faster than anyone expected. The tower's enormous steel exoskeleton began taking shape, giving the building its now famous sail-like profile. Unlike a traditional rectangular skyscraper, almost every major structural element was unique. Very few pieces could simply be copied. Many had to be designed, manufactured, and installed individually with extraordinary precision. Then came one of the project's most recognizable features, the giant white membrane stretching across the front of the building. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary fabric sail. It isn't. The curved facade is made from a special fiberglass-coated material designed to withstand Dubai's brutal environment. Scorching summer heat, powerful UV radiation, salt carried by sea air, and constant desert winds. During the day, the membrane reflects intense sunlight, reducing heat inside the building. At night, it transforms into a giant projection screen, glowing with constantly changing colors visible from miles away. But while the structure was rising above the water, nature was quietly testing every decision the engineers had made. The waves never stopped. The wind never stopped. The sea never stopped moving. And one unexpected problem threatened the island in a way nobody had fully anticipated. The engineers had solved one impossible problem after another. The island was stable. The foundations were holding. The tower continued climbing toward the sky. But the ocean doesn't stop challenging a structure just because construction is finished. Every single day, waves strike the island. Salt water attacks the concrete. Wind pushes against the building's enormous sail-shaped frame, and temperatures regularly swing between cool nights and scorching days above 45 degrees Celsius. Everything expands, everything contracts, everything moves. The Burj Al Arab was designed to move with it. Its structure can flex slightly under powerful winds without causing damage, while the rock breakwater continues absorbing wave energy before it reaches the island itself. Without that protective ring, years of erosion could slowly undermine the very ground beneath the hotel. And then there was the challenge inside. Dubai didn't just want another luxury hotel. It wanted the most extravagant hotel the world had ever seen. The interior became an engineering project of its own. Thousands of square meters of marble were imported. More than 20,000 square meters of 24-karat gold leaf were applied throughout the building. Towering atriums stretched nearly the full height of the hotel, creating massive open spaces that required complex structural support hidden behind the walls. Even the famous helipad near the top wasn't built only for helicopters. Over the years, it has become one of the world's most unusual event locations. A Formula One car has performed donuts on it. Professional golfers have teed off from it. Even a tennis court was temporarily installed, hundreds of meters above the sea. Every event reinforced the same message. This wasn't simply a hotel. It had become a global symbol. Today, millions of visitors recognize its silhouette instantly. Many even call it the world's first 7-star hotel. In reality, no official 7-star rating has ever existed. The nickname was created by journalists who felt that 5 stars simply weren't enough to describe the experience. Ironically, the feature most people admire isn't the luxury. It's the fact that the building exists at all. Because beneath the marble, beneath the gold, and beneath one of the most recognizable skylines on Earth, are 230 concrete piles gripping tightly to compacted sand below the Arabian Gulf. No bedrock, no solid island, just engineering convincing the impossible to stay exactly where it is. And nearly 3 decades later, the ocean is still trying to prove those engineers wrong.